Welcome to MWI Men Sessions. On this podcast we'll be joined by a variety of different guests talking about various different topics to do with mental health. What's happening, everybody? I'm Kieran from MWI Men, and on the show today we've got John Connolly with us. Just want to thank you for coming on for us, mate.
No problem.
I'm Danny. John was at the group on Friday night, men's mental health group that we run. So John, just talk to us a wee bit about your experience of Friday night. How did you find it?
Found it good, aye. It was good to see a group of, I don't know how many, like 30 people or something.
Yeah, aye.
All in there and being very open as well. Almost everybody wanted to say something as well, which was really good to see. I say it's a hard thing for men to do, so it's a very good thing you guys have got going, and I think there's anything like that in East Kilbride. So I've been to a few mental health groups, and it's good to see it nice and relaxed and just boys want to have a chat. And that's what it's all about. So,
brilliant, mate. You're saying obviously at the group that that was your first time openly talking in a group environment. How did you feel that? Because obviously you see you on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and that, you're dead confident, but you were saying to me before it you were nervous. So
I felt good, and then like as it ran, as it just kept going around everybody, I was like, oh no. It was just a build up. I just like everybody talking, it just come closer and closer to me. I probably had just too much time to think about it, instead of just going straight into it. But I just say, if anything, the only thing I was struggling with is trying to make it make sense. Like, I'm very bad for it, and you'll notice this when we're talking today. I'll start somewhere and end up fucking somewhere else. I end up miles away. So that's a bit I find difficult to do, but it was good to talk. If anything, it kind of just made me want to do it more. Aye, because I want to get better at it.
Glad to hear you say that, because you hear me and all what I'm like, mate. When I start something, mate, I'll go on about 10 different story things and all that. So I'm glad you do it on our end.
I think everybody does done it. I think you need somebody to keep you on track.
That's what Danny's here for me.
So John, you obviously came down on Friday, and you've enjoyed the group. I think you're right. There's no enough places for men to go and openly talk. Certainly from my inexperience, that if I had that option, I might never have reached the depths that I reached before. Mm-hmm. And whilst there are other men's mental health groups out there, it's like I don't think they're necessarily well known. I certainly didn't know about them when I was really struggling. I found they could have helped. So I think part of what we're looking to do in the podcast is to say, not everybody can get to the group on a Friday night. Some people in the local East Kilbride, but you know, the mission of the group is to help men open up and listen to other people who have got their own experiences, and to then be able to identify with that and try and understand a wee bit about what's going on for them. And I think there's healing in that itself, just listening to somebody else opening up. And so the podcast's really about that. It's about trying to reach an audience much further and wider than what we can do at the group.
Yeah, but in the group you've seen, like as you said to everybody, like this isn't going to come and fix you instantly, but you're going to come here and you're going to hear what other people do. You're going to hear wee bits of advice that you can try and apply into your life, and it might not work for you, but if there's 30, 40 different men in a group and they're all doing something different, then it gives you more options to try stuff that you've not thought about, or stuff that you thought about doing and thought, oh, that's not going to work for me. Like for myself with meditation and stuff, where I think I was an absolute gimp to meditation. Let's be serious, like it is what it is, but it's something that works, and that's the thing that I find biggest. And touching on different groups as well, I think the biggest groups in sort of Scotland for like men's mental health is all about football. It's all football orientated. Like go and play a game of football and go and talk after it and stuff. And there's a lot of men that are into that. They don't want to go and kick a ball, but they go and talk to somebody, and that's what I like about it. And that's kind of friendly fire to obviously like my brother's own group that he used to run, Time to Tackle. Like I just found that side where it was a lot of people just turn up even just to play a game of fives as well, and that's not what it's about. As much as it's good to get people in the house and help them, you still want to have that option for more people like myself who would probably rather just go and talk to somebody. Even though I'm fit but daft, I don't like to go and kick a ball, but first I'd rather just go and talk to somebody and see how it goes.
Well, that's something for me that you say there. A lot of people wouldn't be into that. I've got 2 left feet, so I can't play fitness, so that would put me off going. Do you know what I mean? But I think with the group, like what Danny was saying, I think with this podcast as well, see, just hearing people opening up, because if you don't go to the meeting, you're not going to hear anybody open up, do you know what I mean? And you're just going to have your own conceptions of what the meeting is or what the group is, and a lot of people is fucking fuck that. Do you know what I mean? They don't want to go to that, but if they listen to his podcast, they might go like, that's powerful stuff. Hearing like you open up, or me and Danny open up. Do you know what I mean? And it's for anybody sitting on the fence as well. It's also for people who can't get to the meeting. But just what we keep saying is that trust side. That see if you hear somebody else opening up, you go like that. Oh, see if he can do it. Oh, I trust that I can then say it back to him because I know that he's not going to say it. Do you know what I mean? So it's that side that we want to get across, and all that. Well, we're all here just for the same reason, man, aren't we? Just to get better and try and help each other.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the power of social media as well. Like, social media gets such a bad rap for things, and deservedly so. But they don't see, people always look at the negative side of it. Well, doing stuff like this, I say this is massive, and it can definitely help. I say thousands, hundreds of thousands. If you look at obviously my profiles, that's all through just me opening up about my mental health, and hopefully I've inspired a few people doing that. So
I think you have. I think you definitely have. Some of the boys in the group were talking about it on Friday that you've helped, and I've looked at some of your stuff as well, and you can just see the amount of positivity that it spreads. And I think the message that people get is that that you're not alone, and I think that's part of it, because again, from my own experience, it was you're sitting there thinking that it's only you that feels like this and things like this.
You go into such an insensitive self-pity party, and everybody does it, and you think your life's worse than everybody else's, but grinning, hearing other things, and without belittling your own problems, your life's probably actually pretty decent compared to some people's in the world. So it's good to be able to get a group of people in and all just try to help each other.
I think that's a very big thing. See, you say the self-pity part, you think it's only you. This is something, again, that's said in the group quite a lot. It's no nice to hear somebody else suffering, but it's good to know it's just not just you. You see people going in the room, and it's all similar, the same things, into the way we start it up, what's your name and what you're here for. It's all the similar scenarios that go right round the full room. And it's just a sense of comfort to know, oh, it isn't just me. Do you know what I mean? That's a big, massive thing for a lot of people, because when they are sitting in that self-pity mode, they're thinking it's just them, so they don't want to go to a meeting because they feel like they're going to get judged or something else. But when you hear a room of 30 people saying all similar stuff, just put you at ease. Do you know what I mean?
100%. It makes a huge difference, and it sounds selfish, but like, they're looking at other people's lives and looking at bits where yours are better. Well, I do the same. Like, you look at what's going on like in the world, like your Palestine, Ukraine, Russia and all that, and I'm complaining about my life. Well, I understand obviously your mind does take over, but if you actually be thankful for what you actually have and how lucky you are actually to be here, it helps you. It helps you sort of recenter yourself and refocus.
Get a bit of perspective.
Exactly.
So take us back then. So your story is obviously blown up on social media.
Yep.
Where did it start for you?
Start on social media. How did I start it?
So a bit about why you started social media. What was life like before?
Life before. Well, I'll start maybe better off maybe starting before whatever I tried. So I just found myself somebody like incredibly insecure. Never had a clue who I was as a person, and loved to distract myself from my own head. Loved to, and my ways were obviously actually quite healthy ways of doing it. It was work. So I'd throw myself into work, and I wouldn't deal with all the shit I had on, but by throwing myself into work and wanting to be in that usual success in life, nice house, nice motor, all that sort of stuff, that just added more stress onto myself. It's like you get nicer things, your bills get bigger. So I'd have to work even harder again. I would ignore everything that was going on in my life, and it was just getting to the point where it was starting to leak into like my relationship, it was starting to leak into my family life, and then started to leak into my work, and then that's where I realised like I need to do something here when this is getting a bit too much for me. So how I started sort of trying to get better, and the thing that made me worse was trying to lose weight at first. Lost a power of weight, and it gave me a wee bit of confidence, but I always had this thing like, God, like, nobody's noticing, and all that, like, nobody's noticing that I'm trying to make myself better, but I hadn't told anybody, and I was struggling, so I was just like going through like this constant cycle of when like nobody cares about me, like, nobody's bothered about me, like, I'm just, and at the end of the day, I just better have not been here, because I'm struggling that much with stuff, and I'm still coping with it all, but I'm not getting that, I don't know the word for it, like validation for it. And that all came from insecurity, which just being insecure in myself. That then led to pretty much my full life getting turned upside down. My first off, my granddad passed, and my granddad was like my hero. And I've had a lot of people pass in my family. I've got a massive family, so a lot of deaths have happened. None of them really ever really affected me. No, when we came with my granddad, it just broke me. And then a few months later, my relationship failed, which I was in for almost 10 years. Had to sell my house, had to sell my motor. I moved in the house at 19, and I had to move back in the house at 25, just feeling like an absolute fucking failure. Like, how's my life went this way? And that's when I just decided I'm finished. I'm done. I don't want to be back in my mods. I don't want to have to explain to everybody that I've failed. Again, coming back to that insecurity thing, and decided I want to take my own life. I don't want to do this. And I spoke about this obviously on Friday. The second that I sort of knew it felt real for me, as I was getting happier, as I was like coming to that point where I was like, I'm going to do this, and it was just like a weight off my shoulders, which is pure delusion. It was just because I didn't have to deal with my shit anymore. And I got to the point where Ben Ann happened, and luckily enough, I'm still here.
So Ben Ann, so for those that, a lot of people listening to this might already know a bit about what happened at Ben Ann because you've documented it quite well, but talk us through that. So why Ben Ann? What was the thinking?
There was no thinking behind exactly where I wanted to do it. I'd planned the day, so I was in this is before even my house was sold, so I moved into my brother's house for I think a month while my ex was just getting all her stuff out. And I was just every night lying on lying on my brother's couch, and he was also on Ireland as well, so I was just lying torturing myself every single night, like how bad my life had went. And earlier in that week I was just like, I don't want to be here, I really don't want to be here. And I started just putting things into place. So I was making sure like my life insurance was sorted, I was making sure that the house was going to be taken care of, and I was trying to also put on a kind of act that I was like happy and alright, and like speaking to family members and stuff. And then it got to, I'm sure it was a Friday, woke up and I was actually supposed to take my dog out that day, but I texted my ex and I was like, I'm not going to be able to take him out. Lucky enough, he actually hurt his paw on the day before as well, so I was like, that helps me, that's my excuse, I can't take him. And I don't know if my ex knew something was going on, because obviously we hadn't really spoke because everything was still raw, but everything was going on. And that day she was just like, oh, what you doing, where are you, like, are you alright, like, try to contact me and stuff. And I was just like, again, texting, like, everything's fine, had a real good day. I was recording what I was doing that day as well, because again I spoke on this on Friday where I was trying to make it look like an accident so that my life insurance paid out and all that sort of stuff. So I kind of felt better, because it sounds horrible, but I hate saying suicide is selfish, but there is a selfish aspect of it for your family. So I got to the Friday, I woke up and I just went a drive, so I don't know where I'm going to go. Ended up at Ben Ann. Got to Ben Ann car park, and so I've pulled up, parked in the car park, and I was sitting there for maybe half an hour or something like that, again just trying to figure out like what the fuck am I going to do. I'd never been to Ben Ann either, so I was like, I don't even know if I could do it here. So that would have been a bastard walking up there and I couldn't do it. So honestly, it couldn't, mate, it was horrible. I've got dodgy knees. So I was sitting in the car park and like just seeing people coming and going, and just like, oh, I've really just for having a nice wee day. And again, I'm like, nobody notices me, nobody sees me sitting here ready to take my life. And I was like, and I just was proving to me in my own head that like I should just do it, because nobody cares, even though nobody knew me. It's mad in the way your mind sort of plays tricks on you in that way. And then eventually a family did notice me. I was sitting in the car, a family pulled up beside me, and like mum, dad and child, a wee boy. And like, at first it was like the wee boys are like just all looking at me and that, and you do your usual smile at them and stuff. And then it was making me feel weird, so I was like, I need to go, and I'm starting to think about this too much. So I get in the car, go up to Ben Ann. There's a part in Ben Ann where you can sort of stop, and there's a big rock and you can sort of sit and chill sort of halfway up it. And I'm sitting there and that family catch up with me. Again, I just keep getting drawn to this family constantly, just like, I don't know why, but I'm just constantly looking at them and like sort of that usual interaction when you're climbing a hill. I mean, I just thought about how knackered you are. And then 10 minutes go past and I say, I'm keep going, get to the top, and I think honestly it took me between 40 minutes and an hour to get up there. I was flying up there, just wanted to get up and deal with it. And it's an app I always find funny. So when you go up to Ben Ann, there's a wall bit where you can look out onto the walk and stuff, and then you can go up higher. So I've went out to the bit where the walk is, and I'm sitting there, and I had a sandwich in my bag. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, should I eat this sandwich? And then I was like, again, just on the wee stupid things are in my mind. I was like, nah, I'm not going to eat the sandwich. So I then go up to the next bit, and I'm standing at the, there's another rock as well, sitting on right at the edge, just sitting there. And I started eating the sandwich, trying to buy time. And that's the one thing I said in my video, and everybody always laughs at me for it. I was just sitting there eating a sandwich, asking what flavour it was and that. And honestly, I can't remember. I wish I could remember. But I'm sitting there. I don't know how long I've sitting there. I'd say maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes. No got a clue. And I just get looking over the edge, and I'm like, this is high enough. Like, this is definitely high enough. And it sounds crazy as well, I'll probably have to jump a few meters out to be able to fall right down and have to tumble. I'll just fall. And I get to a point I just like stand up, and all I can remember is like just how shaky and stuff my knees were going. Like I just felt as if like, I don't know, I felt as if I was alive again for the first time ever. And I always try to put that into like thinking, that was tricking my mind into like making me think it was still real. I should do it, because I was like, I'm starting to feel stuff again, and it's so hard to put myself back into that mindset and try and think of what was actually going through my mind. But obviously I sit there, I torture myself about it constantly. I think about it all the time, try to figure out what was actually going on. So I standing there again, I was maybe standing there for a few minutes, and then I said, and that's when I just heard the woman just sort of excuse me, and I turned around and I kind of seen in her face that, like, I don't know, she just sort of like had a look at me, like, never said a word to me, but it was like, can you take a photo of me and my family? I not a problem. So I turned around and I take a photo of her and my family, take a couple of photos, give her a phone back, and I give her a phone back, and she looks at me like, you okay? In the sense she said okay, I just broke, just completely broke. Never gave her a second to speak to me after that, just grabbed my bag and just away I went, just disappeared. I can't remember much going down the hill. It was just like, adrenaline stuff kicking in, and kind of just thinking about, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? And then get back to the car and sat there for, I don't know, quite a while, just sat there like, what is going through your mind? And I just drove a bit for hours that day. I just felt better driving around, and I still do that when I'm struggling. I go to drive, it helps me a lot. And now we're here, so I don't know how well I put across that story, but I think I've put it across that many times, it's like fucking a script almost now. So that's how I've ended up sort of where I am.
That's brilliant, mate. It's, I can idea a lot with what you're saying with see, to start, the insecurities and not knowing who you are, and then you're getting better, but why is nobody noticing that? But you're not telling anybody that you're trying to get better. 100%. It's crazy that your head warps you into that way of thinking again, the self-pity into it, and it just continuously puts you down, making you feel like nobody cares, nobody's even bothering about anything that you're doing, but you're not telling anybody, so how is anybody supposed to know? But it's amazing. Like, I've spoke to Danny about it after like Friday, and like the way you speak about it, like, you were so ready to do that, yeah. And then just that instant, somebody asked, like, what is the chances, right, of you being on the edge of that, and that woman to ask at that precise time when you feel full of life, you're full of this, and then she just goes, oh, can you take a pic?
As if she asked that question when I was back in my head finally. And I'd not been in my head for months, for maybe say the January since my granddad passed. And when I was actually like, again, it's obviously pure fear that was kicking in and just making me feel stuff again. And in that moment, that woman asked me a question, which is, it's just that, can you take a photo of me? And I don't know if that's maybe why my story is kind of blew up so much, because people believe in like fate and all that kind of thing. And if anything, that it's probably made me believe a lot more. Like I've become not really religious, like I'm not a pure Bible basher, but like I do believe a lot in like God and stuff again, because of all this stuff. And it's crazy. It's honestly it's mental, and I've still know, even though my story's been, I think that video of me at the top of Ben on the anniversary's got like 17 million views, and I've still not heard anything from that woman. And I would love to say thank you, like just like, you saved my life, or you actually saved my life, and not just that, you've done my life into where it is now. And on that through a question, and that shows how important it is just to speak to somebody. And again, I said this in your group as well on Friday. A young lad who I'm actually messaging now, he came up to an end and he was like, I don't know how to make myself feel better. I don't know how to feel no important, but try and feel like alive or feel useful to somebody. And my bit of advice for him was go up to somebody random and pay him a compliment, see their face, see what happens, and just it shows how powerful your voice can be. You could make that person's day. Just by saying you look good today.
I listened to a podcast and it was a guy who'd spoken to a police officer. Somebody had jumped off the Erskine Bridge, but the guy had left a note and he says, if anybody smiles to me on the way to do this, I'll no do it. Yeah. And that was it. That's all he wanted, just a smile. That's the suicide note he left, and I was like that. But it just shows how hard is it to just smile at somebody, and that could literally save somebody's life. Like that woman just asking for a picture of her family saved your life. Do you know what I mean? And I just thought that was so powerful. That's what it said on his note. If somebody smiles at me on the way to do this, I'll no do it. And you're just like, wow, man. But it's just like you're saying to the boy for the group, like, just see us reaching out to other people, and I think that's what we highlight a lot. Helping others takes it away for you. Do you know what I mean? And it makes you feel better knowing that you're helping somebody else. It might sound selfish, but you're doing it for the right reasons.
It doesn't matter if it's selfish if you're still helping somebody. That's my whole side. It's the same way. I get a lot of guilt with, obviously I earn money through social media and stuff. I get a lot of guilt for that because what I talk about, and I turn a lot of stuff down because I don't want to be that guy who's doing brand deals and stuff, and I only got to where I got because I opened up my mental health. But at the same time, like, I always say to myself, like, but look at how many people that, like, you try to help and stuff. I only got to that point because of what I do. So it's very hard, obviously, in that way where it can be selfish and it plays in my mind a lot. But if you're helping others, you deserve a bit of fucking help back.
Well, this is that. You see, there's so many other sort of podcasts and people on social media that's clickbait nonsense, that's deeply unhelpful.
Yeah.
That plays on people's insecurities, and they're earning money through that. So see if you opening up, sharing your journey, puts you in a position to do that. It's helped more people than it's harmed, and so it can only be a good thing. But one of the things you spoke about there that I always find interesting, people often ask, whenever I've shared my own story, was there a defining moment? So when you'd made the decision that you were going up to go and take your life, you didn't want to be here anymore. And I think it's much more complex than that, isn't it? There is never really rarely is there just one thing. There's years of stuff.
It's years of like constantly battling in your own head. Like, I don't think people realise like how much a decision it is to take your own life, and people look at it as like, I don't know, it's a quick decision. It's years of self-torture. It's years of self-pity. It's years of not feeling good enough. And again, it's the same when it comes to recovery. It's years of hard work, but there's never a defining moment. It was just, it was a combination of sort of my granddad passed and everything happening with my house, my relationship, even my job. My job wasn't going very well at the time, and it was just like, it was as if the stars were aligning. Just wanting, this is your time. Like, you've tried hard enough. Because like, I'm somebody, and again, I hate talking about it because it sounds like you're coming for, again, that self-pity, but I spoke about it in the group as well. But my upbringing wasn't great. And I go to myself where I'm driving like a nice fancy 50 grand Jaguar. I've got a new build house in Benhall Farm in East Kilbride. That's where I stayed, bought that house, and I was so proud of that. I was so proud that I broke myself at that point, and the fact that it just could go when that was just gone. That's what just like, well, this isn't worth it. This isn't worth it to me. I can't build myself back up to that because I'd worked that hard before. I don't know if I can work that hard again. And that's why I thought I'd just rather not be here. And it's the pressure. You talk about the material things there, about the car and the house, and it's the pressure you put on yourself with that stuff, because society makes you believe that that's what's important. And it's like, even when you've got that stuff, Kieran speaks about it quite a lot, is that the external doesn't reflect the internal. So you can have it, these material things, but if you're broken inside, it doesn't matter. Nah, millionaires still taking their lives every day. Well, not every day, but you know what I mean. Millionaires still killing themselves. Look at your Robin Williams and look at your celebrities, your actors who look all happy and they look up a lot more life. I think it's because you build yourself up to the point, like you're saying, the nice car, the nice house. For me anyway, I put all these goals. Like, if I get this motor, I get that watch, I get that amount of money in the bank. See, when I get it, I don't get that feeling that I think I should get. No. So I feel even worse because I'm like, why do I not feel that way? And then it gets to the point, nothing's good enough because it's all external I'm chasing, the clays, the money, the everything else. But inside,
I need to sort in there, and that's it's I've only realised that in the last year. Do you know what I mean? That's what I need to sort. But then when you try and sort that, man, that's when
it all comes out again. That's when it all comes out again.
Because when you're buying all this other stuff, you're trying to mask it on, you're trying to, with the motor, not, your motor's good, but you get fed up with it after a week. Do you know what I mean? It's just a motor at the end of the day, and that buzz goes away, and then you're left with the same pain that you've got inside.
100%.
So when you're trying to mask all that, you're doing absolutely nothing, and then you realise when you go into your head and you start trying to sort it, you realise what's actually going on, and you're like,
it gets scary.
Fuck, here we go, man.
If anything, the previous, well, no, that year, but for like the rest of 2021 and the full of 2022 were the worst years of my life. Awful, absolutely awful. But I just had that wee bit in me where I was like, I'm not going through that again. Like, because I remember it all rawly. I still remember it in this day. Like, you seen the state of me trying to talk about it on Friday. It gets difficult. Obviously, going back into the feelings. So that's our bit with people, again, that might actually cause people to take their own lives as well, is when they do start to try and sort their shit, it gets fucking worse. It gets so much worse because you are dealing with stuff now instead of just avoiding it.
That's it, mate. So obviously, that's all. It's like the hard part, but you have massively turned your life around. Obviously, you still struggle, but there's a lot of positivity that's came from such a negative moment in your life. So you want to tell us a wee bit about what's changed, how you're doing now, and I think you helped a lot of people in the group on Friday with all the stuff that you implement and the way you speak about it, you come across. So I think you could help a lot of people with the positive side of the story, mate. So
I'll just talk about obviously what went on behind the scenes after that. So the very first thing I done was started going to the gym. I've put photos and that on my social media and like how I looked in first time in the gym, and I don't know why, but I always had this thing. I think it was one of Joe Rogan's podcasts, and he was like, just imagine the comeback, and I was just, and that's what kept me driving. I was like, that's what's going to fix you. So I first time was going to the gym, and I didn't want him to look at me. I have to get hooked up, know what I talk to him, the headphones in, and first few times try to go in the gym, I would sit outside in my motor for half an hour and not go in. I'd just drive away, and because I was just that insecurity coming in. Within maybe 6 months of going to the gym, I started to feel better, started to feel healthier, fitter, comfortable in the area. I was speaking to people again outside of just my work, because I'll be honest, I was lonely as fuck. I never had any mates in that point. Like I couldn't, because I couldn't let people see me like that. So I like starting to speak to people and stuff again. That was massive for me, because I actually developed a stutter with everything that was going on. Like in my work, I couldn't talk to people because I was just that nervous with everything. And I noticed that starting to clear up. And that's our point I want to pick on, was what I say. I started the gym and like it made me better. As I said, it took me 6 months to actually see it. And that's the other thing. People are so impatient with trying to fix everything. When people try to fix everything, they want it to change overnight, and that's never going to happen. So gym started off first, and then when I started to see the benefits of that, I started looking into things like, how can I make myself like a better person? What can I do to fix all this? So the one bit that always stuck out to me was like, get a pen, get a piece of paper, and write down everything you hate about yourself. Write it all down, and write down in the tiny details. And that's easy to do when you're in that sort of mindset, because you hate everything. So I was writing absolutely everything down. And again, it went from, I don't get up early enough in the morning, I don't walk my dogs enough, I skip brushing my teeth, my diet's a shambles, like everything. And I looked at it, it's overwhelming. So you go, fuck, this is a lot to change. But I put it into order of like, what's the easiest thing for me to do. And I started with walking my dogs. I like up every morning, even if it makes you late to your work, walk your dogs. Walk them, and then again, I would do that for a week, 2 weeks, and I go, right, okay, this is easy. I'm feeling better again, because I'm out in the morning, I'm going to walk, I'm more awake going to my work, and by doing that, I started getting up earlier. So that's, and then domino effect kicks in, right, I'm up earlier, I've got more time. Again, then it would go, right, let's start eating better, because I'm up earlier, I'm walking my dogs, I've got more time in the morning, I've got better lunches at work, I've got better dinners. I was alone as well, so it was easier in that way. People with partners, I say this to my clients, I ask them, are you single? But because it's easier doing it by yourself. So and then leads to diet, and then looking into the gym, I got a coach, and I just always kept trying to live my life exactly how I thought I would want to live it. like who I would want to be. So I wanted to be a fit person. I wanted to look better. I wanted to feel better. And I just gradually snowballs on from there, and you just get better at everything. And by the end of it, listen, there's still things I do that pisses me off and that I struggle with. I'll go into have like I'll start overthinking major about. But I'm fucking 10 times the person I was back then, and that's what it's all about. I'm still no better. Like for now, I'm a 28-year-old who stays in his mom's spare room, driving his mom's old motor, who's just went self-employed, who, if anything, I'm still really insecure when it comes to like relationships and that sort of stuff as well, because I've been alone for a while, and I'm good alone. So I've still got all these problems to deal with, and I've also got the public's eye on me as well, which makes it a wee bit harder.
A big bit harder.
It definitely does. Like even things like I struggle to go on a night out, and I like going on a night out. I like going out with my mates. I like having a laugh. I've never had issues with drink. I've never touched gear or wreckage in my life. Never touched it. So I'm good in that side of things, but I can't do it because I'm like, what does everybody think of me? And so I've still got all of that sort of insecurity to deal with. So everybody always tells me you're doing amazing, you're smashing life, but it's like everything. You always concentrate on the negatives, and I don't see the big problem on that, because it does make you want to get better. Now that I'm more confident myself, I know that I can deal with it. So I'm very big on like working for it, because you have to work for it. It's not just going to land in your lap.
It's like nobody's coming to fix you, and you need to do it yourself. And you said something really interesting there as well. And I think when you're at your sort of most broken, you're trying to figure it all out, and it's really, really difficult to figure all that stuff out at once.
Because everything's fucked.
Everything's gone. So it's like what you said there. It's, well, is there one or two things I can do? Can I break this down? It's like if you're climbing the staircase, you don't need to figure out how to climb the top. You just need to take the next step.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important for people to understand. Is there's something that if you sit and think about it, you could do it, and you would do it. And it's implementable right now. You could do it tomorrow, and the goal wouldn't be too difficult. You could start it now.
Yeah,
and that's essentially what you've done.
It's a procrastination, innit? It's procrastination. It's sitting there and thinking. Again, it's always night time, and everybody does still get that wee bit of motivation. I'm going to change my life. Well, you're lying in your bed, I'm going to fix everything, and you wake up in the morning, you do fuck all. Or you think, and then you get annoyed about it because you said you were going to do it and you never done it. So it's just about picks up easy. Picks up easy and do it and change it, and don't change it for a week and 2 weeks and go back to normal. Like, make sure you do it, and doing that until it doesn't feel as if it's a task anymore. That's the biggest thing I can say, is like, when you do all these things, it doesn't feel like a task anymore. It's just your day, it's your life. I think that I might struggle a wee bit where I break out in that routine still, where things like happen and I have to do other things, and that's where I talk about like relationships and all that side of things. Where I struggle with that side of it, because it's not what I know, and I know like when I do what I do, I'm going to have a good day. So it's massive just to pick on, just get up and fucking do it. Like, stop feeling sorry for yourself. It's insensitive, I know, but stop feeling sorry for yourself. Get out your own fucking head for a second and just do it, because it will make you feel better. So
it's the consistency into it, like you say at the start. It's going to be a struggle at the start to change anything, especially something that's been dragging you down for so long, and especially if it's a list like that size. Do you know what I mean? It's been putting you down. So it's like you say, just pick off wee tiny things, and even when your head's telling you not to do it, like we spoke about in the group on Friday, see if you can overcome the thoughts of don't do it. The self-accomplishment side comes in as well, man, and it's just amazing the feeling you get, and then the longer you keep doing it, the consistency side of it just becomes normal. And like you're saying with the walking the dogs, you were doing it for a week, 2 weeks, and you're like, this is good. And then I feel like, see, when you better one thing, other things run about just start better, and even just off the back it, like you're saying, that was you waking up early, you could then make lunches, you could then eat better, you then feel better in the gym, and that's all just for getting up and walking your dogs. Do you know what I mean? Then you've got another 5 things.
My dogs are happier. I mean, so there's everything. And that's a bit where, as I said at the time, like, that's when the gym taught me that, where it teaches you, like, if you just push yourself a wee bit extra, it's going to be easier next week, but then that's where you have to make it harder for myself. And that's how you just continually get better and better and better. And that implements in every single part of your life. And I think the biggest problem with the world nowadays is nobody's got patience. You can get everything too quick. Like, you can order delivery and it arrives in 30 minutes. Like, you can order stuff online, it can arrive the same day nowadays. Like, it's wild. Nobody's got in that bit when they want to actually work hard for it, or they have to work hard for it. They can just get it, I can make it look as if I've got it and post it online and it looks good.
It's like the gym aspect when we've spoke about on the phone, like you get clients and they want results right there, and I think when you get a PT that's it, it's a magic spell, but I think some people forget you still, even though you do that, you still need to put the graft in, and it's still going to take 12, 14, 16 weeks. It's no just because you're getting somebody to write your plan, and that's the same like you say, it ain't in life. If you want to get up earlier, you want to do all this other stuff, eat better, it's good to do it, but you need to consistently do it to see the benefits and feel the benefits. Like you say, you went to the gym for 6 months before you even seen or felt anything. Do you know what I mean? And the thing is, when you're in that mindset as well, your head's still probably telling you, patch it. Do you know what I mean? There probably is changes there that you could notice, but your head's not letting you notice it. It's until you break past the boundaries that you then realise, oh, this is actually good for me. Do you know what I mean? Because you just keep at it, but your head will consistently tell you, don't do this, don't do that, oh, just stay in the day, man, just phone a munch, do you know what I mean? And then after you date, but you feel like shit because you know you shouldn't have done it. It's just a vicious circle when you go around and date like that, man.
You see, when you're looking for it as well, like that's the perfect reason for using the gym, like progress photos. Like if I say I tell my clients, like, you're looking at your body every single day, and if you're telling me you're talking shit, well, you're looking at your body every day and wanting to see changes, you're not going to see them because you're so used to seeing yourself. But again, if somebody else looks from outside, they see it, and that can happen in 2-3 weeks time, and that's the biggest part of improvement, is you're not going to see everything that's actually getting better. Like I was getting people saying to me, you're looking happier in that, and I was still feeling fucking awful. But there was just wee things in your life that you were doing, like again, talking to people more, like saying hello to people, and like stuff that I wouldn't normally do when I was in that really bad mindset, and people notice it, and that's just it just gets better. That's all I can say to people.
And then you can use that sort of similar train of thought for what's going on in your life. See, whatever it is that you're looking for, that's what you're going to see. So if I'm constantly telling myself that I'm useless and I've got low self-worth and I'm all these things, all the way through my day, I'm looking for evidence to reinforce that idea. So I'm looking for reasons why I'm useless, why I'm no use to anybody else. And it's not until you can start to. So, for example, you feel useless, right? How can you possibly fix that? Well, you can be of use to your dogs, like you're saying. You can take the dogs out in the morning. All of a sudden, there's somebody that's getting a bit of benefit out of you, and then you start to feel better about that. And it's like it's that stuff that starts untangle the web that's in your mind. It's like, all of a sudden you start to feel of benefit, of use to somebody. And if you can do it for the dogs, then you can start to implement other stuff.
That's it. Things aren't going to make sense until you're in the middle of them. See, before you go into it, you don't know what's going to happen. Anything can happen before you do something. So it's not until you get in there and you start to experience things, and things are going to make you feel awful, but you have to make a decision, and in the second you make that decision, you go, right, that was a mistake, let's step back, let's do the next one, and then that one worked, right, okay, next step. And that's, again, it's always so hard to try and make sense of everything. As you say, that's your mind is an absolute maze, but you eventually just learn how to navigate it and get to that place. And that's probably why I feel like I like to talk about all this stuff, because as I say, like, I'm a wee bit older than most boys. I'm 28 now, so a lot of boys that are struggling, it is like your teenagers right up to your, I say, 20, 23, 24, 25 year olds, because I don't think your brain fully develops until you're about 25, 26 and you start to actually learn a bit more about life. And I've experienced a bit with having the houses and stuff, so that's why I like to try and talk about it. And again, like my videos, I just put my phone in my steering wheel. I grab my phone, put it in my steering wheel, and I just start talking about stuff, and whatever comes out. And I'll watch it back and see if I say anything in it and I think, no, like, that's maybe a bit too much for people now, I'll not post it. But if it's something that is like, even if it's just telling people I'm fucking proud of them.
And that's another interesting point, because there's when I first really started to deal with my shit, I had this idea I needed to be honest in every aspect of my life, and that's totally true. But not honest to the extent that I'll say whatever it is I'm thinking and have I just don't care how it affects you.
Yeah.
Well, that's not really being honest. That's just being a bit of a dick.
Aye.
So it's like, be honest, but try not to hurt other people in the process, innit? And like you said there, if there is stuff that you've recorded that you don't like, then you won't post it.
Aye. I've learned that mistake as well from posting stuff. Like, obviously, the audience I've attracted is people who, I say, they might not be diagnosed depressed or have any sort of mental health issue, but not people who aren't enjoying their life at the moment. And I've posted videos where I was like fake crying at the start of the video, like stupid and obviously fake crying, and then just like fucking snap at you. And I got a lot of backlash for people in there. It went very well at the same time, but I took it down within like an hour, because I was like, I don't want to make people feel like they shouldn't feel like that. 'Cause everybody fucking greets, everybody has a moment where like, my life's fucking shit, I hate everything, and they have a greet, but it's so hard to find that point where, obviously I want my videos to go well, and if you're a wee bit confrontational on them, they do better, because you're getting the hate comments, but that's possibly why my videos don't do well as now, because I hate making people feel like that. It makes me feel fucking awful. It makes me feel really, really bad. And that's why your Andrew Tates and that are fucking massive, because they don't give a fuck. And that's exactly the narrative that I don't want to have on my social media.
We spoke about that, didn't we? It's like certain gyms in our area that they post videos like purposely being controversial, and I'm like, I couldn't be asked for that. Like, you can see they're purposely it's working, but they're purposely going out their way to say this and say that about certain things, and I'm just like, I couldn't be doing with that. But I thought they were being like serious and all that, but no, it is just the whole clickbait aspect.
100%. The more comments you get, the more shares you get, the more views you get.
Aye.
And that's as simple as that. And that's the side of me where I'm trying to really no going that way with my content. If anything, my content nowadays it does well is when I've got a bit of energy and I'm just being a fucking fanny. Because I like to try and show on that side, like, I've got a personality as well. I'm not just a mental health warrior that wants to talk about mental health all the time. I've got a life outside of that, just like everybody that's struggling has got a life outside of their mental health. So I'm trying to show on that side that where you can just enjoy your life, come back for your fucking darkest moments, and you never know what's going to happen.
So what do you do now so if you're somebody who's sort of been on a bit of a healing journey and you're doing a lot better today than you were a couple of years ago, what do you do now when you're in a bad day? If you're having a bad day, what is it you do?
Just accept it. Just accept it. I, to be honest, I just do the same things that I would usually do. Just don't really talk to as many people, if I'm being honest. You're through life, you're always going to have bad days. So you're not going to fix yourself and then your life's perfect and everything's all roses. It's never ever going to happen. Things are going to happen in your life. You're going to even down to losing family members, or even with me, like recently losing my dog that completely ruined me. But I got over stuff like that a lot easier now, because again, it's just like, right, what can I do? I can't control it. It's happening now. Let's just feel shit about it for a day or two, but let's just continue to do what we're doing and just get back to normal life. That's
a brilliant way to look at it. Like you brought that up on Friday as well at the group, and I thought that was a brilliant point. Like, everybody's going to have bad days, but it's then, do you cling on to it, turn it into a bad couple of days, a bad week, a bad couple of weeks, a bad month, especially if it's big incidents like losing your dog, losing a family member. That could easily drag you down to the darkest pits of hell, and it could turn very, very bad very quick without you even realising it's doing it. So it is the whole accepting life's going to happen in it. And there's nothing you can do about it. And I just thought that was a really good point you made, that bad things are going to happen to everybody, and again, it's not just us, it's not just me it's going to happen to. Do you know what I mean? Somebody shared it in the group that he thought everything that happened in life was happening to him, but it wasn't. It was just happening. And I thought that was an amazing point to make, because I date so easily, why is this happening to me? Why me? Why am I doing this? Why is that happening? And you just realise it's all, see, when I've got any issues, it's always about me. See, when you take a step back and go, that's actually affected them, it's affected my partner, it's affected my son, my ma, but I'm just too worried about what's happening 100%. With me. And you focus that much on yourself, you forget about everything else that's going on about you, and then you cause all these mad scenes in your head. But it's a brilliant point. And something else I want to touch on that you said as well about, it was kind of like trial and error. You were saying, try this and it might not work. That's a thing that a lot of people need to know as well. Just because you try something, if it doesn't work, doesn't mean you just give up and throw the towel in. Take a step back and, like you say, go for the next option. That might not work either, but it's just about trial and error, because everybody's different, like we spoke about on Friday as well. Like, one thing that works for you might not work for me, it might work for Danny, but you've just got to try it and figure out what works for yourself. And just, if you get those knocks, just when you come back from them, you come back from them stronger, because you're building that mental resilience to push on and try and better yourself.
That's a bit what I get backlash with all the time online, is when I say to do things, and it's just the instant thing is I try and help me, you've got a life, kids, mortgage and whatever else. It's not my fucking fault that you've got a life, kids and mortgage, and that isn't on me. I'm if anything, don't listen to me, go listen to somebody who talks about this stuff, who has that. But I'll continue to post what I post, and hopefully that helps people. My main target audience, honestly, is, I don't want to say kids, but maybe teenagers up to young 20s. That's my target audience, because that's the point where I struggled most in my life, and that's what I've got experience with. So it's people who, again, who have on that, who will then listen to me, maybe because I've got a profile and stuff, and I've maybe said something in the past that works, but it instantly turn it negative towards me, and I'm just like, have a look at yourself, have a look at what you're doing right now. Like, you're just getting on and getting angry at me because I'm posting a bit of advice for somebody, and again, it's just that, aye, but I've got this and that and this and that. But so did I, and I still struggled with it. Like, everybody has their own issues. Again, I've not opened up about everything online. Like, I said something about like my parents and stuff in the group on Friday, and that probably threw me off a wee bit. Like, stuff that had happened in my past where I've not told any cunt about that online. Like, people don't know everything you've went through. And again, that's that thing where you go, my life's just worse than yours. My life's harder than yours. Is it? But is it really? I just stop feeling sorry for yourself.
Self-pity again, innit?
Aye, and that's the bit where I kind of need to, I know I need to start talking about that online, because it's starting to annoy me in that way, where I'm like, there's so many people out there who, if like that thing, if you could just give them a fucking shake and a reality check and then stand with them and help them, they would get so much fucking better. Well, so much better. I
think that's part of the point, isn't it? Where such a complex set of issues that people face, and so many times we're looking for that one thing that's going to fix it, and it's a complex set of issues you've got, and therefore it might be not just one thing you need to do to help yourself get better. So if you're going to stand on the outside and throw stones at people who fixed it, the problem for themselves, then I'm not really sure how it helps. I'm not sure how it helps you. I'm not sure how it helps them. It doesn't help, because you've seen it yourself. I get caught up sometimes. If I see something quite positive on social media and I start reading the comments, I'll see some really positive comments. You go, that's brilliant. See, when you start to see some negative stuff, I don't know about you, but it starts to play with my mind. I start reading the negative stuff, and next thing you know, I'm starting to think negatively.
See, that's a big thing, especially online, is nobody can make their own decisions anymore. Everybody goes with what's popular, and that's the biggest fucking issue with life, and that's the problem with being able to see into people's lives so much. Is if you get somebody, if I turn around to say, I hate the colour blue, I can't stand the colour blue, I could convince, there's people who follow me who are like obsessed with it that day, I could convince them that blue is the worst colour ever, because I've just said it online, and that's where it's completely fucked. That's the problem. Nobody can make their own decisions. Nobody can take a step back and go, right, he's gave that advice, I don't agree with that bit, but I'm not going to sit there and hate him for it. And that's all, again, it comes back to that Andrew Tate thing. And that's like, he came really, really popular. Some big people started hating on him, and then the world started hating on him. And now he's just kind of doing his own thing. And don't get me wrong, Andrew Tate gives some good advice. He does, when he's not talking about fucking misogyny or that getting rich is going to solve all your problems or depression isn't real. When he just talks about like certain things to do in your life, it's going to make you better. Like, I talk about like, training and like being more disciplined and that side of thing. But people kind of see past that wee bit because they're just seeing he's a big misogynist because the whole world's told you that. I kind of agree. He is. He doesn't have a kind of lifestyle that I like to live, but you can also take some good bits of advice that he's saying. Just because somebody said a few bad things doesn't mean that everything he does is bad. He's
definitely no my guy, that's for sure, but like everybody else, I think when you're caught up in that stuff, it's always got to be black and white. Either you hate somebody or you like them, and I lived my life like that for a long time as well. Either you're for me or against me, and the answer's always somewhere in the middle with most people. There's not that many people that you could say you disagree with absolutely everything they've ever done or think, and you get caught up in just such black and white thinking, and there's always shades of grey in between.
Every single time, and that's people, I say, like to look at things with any depth. Nobody likes to look at it with any depth, because that takes actually thinking and using your brain, and it takes time instead of just leaving a shite comment or whatever. If anything, I don't get affected too much by like negative comments. I get them every day on my videos. It's always going to happen. If anything, it just makes me realise, like, no matter what you do in life, people's always going to have something to say. So you may as well live your life the way that you fucking want to. So
it's about having that open-mindedness that you're saying there, like being open to other people's opinions. For me, my point of view, I always thought I was right about everything. Do you know what I mean? So even if somebody said something and I thought, fuck, they might be right, I would instantly go into defensive mode and I'd argue every single point. But see, because I didn't have that open-mindedness, it just makes me feel worse. Because then I feel shit about myself because I actually doubt myself and all that. But see, just being able to open and just say, all right, that actually does make sense. So I might not like that person, but I do agree with what he's saying. Because the only thing you do is you start building up all these barriers within yourself, and all these mad stupid thoughts in your head again, and it's you that suffers. That other person said it, they're just walking away and they don't care what you actually think about them, or what you think about them, and it's you're the only one that's left suffering. Like, so why turn yourself off to everybody else and just your own views? I don't know. That's
mental. It's narcissistic, and it's completely wrong. Especially, I used to do, I'd scroll Twitter, and I'd scroll Twitter and you'd see people posting stuff. It's usually Fitbit stuff. Fitbit stuff's like, if anything, I'm not. I'm still with Fitbit. I still follow my team, but I'm not as invested in Fitbit anymore because I just realised like how much I was hating people for the team to support, or if they had something bad to say about a player who I've never fucking met in my life. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, what am I doing? Like, it's so wrong, and that's the side of life that like so many people are caught up in, and then they wonder why they feel like that towards people, or why they're so negative or quick to snap with people. It's just about being more open. Like, if you're getting angry at what someone else is saying, all you're doing is punishing yourself. That is all you're doing. You're letting them control your emotion. You're getting pissed off, but it is ruining, even if it's only 5 minutes of your day, that's ruining 5 minutes of your day because somebody said a word, and they couldn't care less if it's annoyed you, especially when it's online, because that person doesn't even know you've read it.
It's really funny, because I remember I was speaking to somebody maybe a couple of years ago now, and I was telling them about, I used to get really bad road rage, right? So I used to, I say used to, it still sometimes happens to me, but it's nowhere near as regular as it used to be. And a guy pulled out in front of me, had done the usual, screaming, shouting, beating the horn, revving up behind him, pretending I'm going to get out the motor, all that stuff. Then I go back and tell my missus about that. So now it's not only affecting me and the guy that was in the car and the 3 other motors that seen it happening. Now she knows about it. It's now affecting her. So why were you getting so angry about it? It's then impacting her as well. And it's like, all that's happened there is a guy's pulled it in front of me. I've taken it personally. He's just maybe trying to get somewhere. Maybe he's rushing back to get his kids. Maybe his mum's not well. Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe he is just a dick. That's also fine. But it's consumed me to the point that I've got angry. My missus now knows about it, and everybody around about has seen it. It's affected that many people. Or somebody pulling it. It's like, who's benefiting for that?
I know. And then what usually happens, especially with your missus, and that you'll say something and they'll check you on it, and then you get annoyed at the name. So then it starts something between yous, and it's like, that's because somebody pulled it on you 3 years ago.
Yep.
It's mental, and that's something that like you have to just learn how to just no care about, not in a bad way, but no care what anybody thinks about you, what people say. As long as you know in your heart you're doing the right thing and you're not being a dick to anybody, then you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong, mate.
Definitely. So, just coming sort of towards the end of the podcast, and you touched on it a wee bit earlier with the family that essentially saved your life. If they were sitting in front of you, then what would you say to them?
I don't even know, man. I don't even know. All I could say is like thanks. I think it's one of the moments where there's no much I can say. I think I'd love to like show them what I've been up to. I'd probably go into a lot of detail with them. I'd love to just sit like privately and just like show them how much they've actually changed. I'd be greeting like a fucking Wayne. I feel emotional just thinking about it. I need fucking hell, man. You've done me. They've done. Oh fuck. They mean a lot to me. And my family. I'd love to meet my family. And my mum and aye.
Amazing, man. Unreal.
You're an inspiration, mate. And we'll thank you for coming down and sharing your story with the boys on Friday. And we'll thank you for coming on here. I'm sure that this will impact people in a positive way, being able to hear your story. And
100%, mate.
It takes a lot of courage to do what you've done for the last couple of years, and it takes a lot of courage to come on and speak about it here. So thanks very much.
I appreciate that. Thank you,
mate. Thanks very much for coming on, mate. I really appreciate it.
I want to say as well, obviously, like, what you're doing is going to help a lot more than you'll ever realise. That's a lot of it, and that's where I get my happiness from. And as it gets bigger and bigger, I say you realise that, and it's amazing. Best feeling in the world. So, well done.
Brilliant, mate.
Cheers.
Legend.